What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so Epstein Gate rages on. Despite the best efforts of the Trump White House, his subordinates, and Trump supporting social media platforms trying to swerve attention away from Trump's obvious connection with Epstein and his likely placement on that Epstein list, which they're trying to bury, and swerve attention to a make-believe Barack Obama scandal involving Russia and their involvement in the 2016 election. It's not working. So now they're trying to divert attention to Bill Clinton. And don't get me wrong, I'm going to make videos about Bill Clinton and his shenanigans. The problem is, when I was talking about Bill Clinton before, those videos would get 600-700 views. Nobody cared. Now people care. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that the Trump administration and their reaction to releasing the list, all of their actions, not just Trump, those who are rumored to be involved, they're all so quiet. You know, all these people that have been quiet, all these people in the past, on the left too, who've been so adamant about Trump being held accountable for his actions and his crimes. You notice all of a sudden, a lot of them are real quiet because a lot of them, celebrities, politicians, business people, royalty, they're just as guilty. And people are recognizing that the silence is deafening. So they know that there's something there. So I'm going to get on Bill Clinton because he's just as bad, if not worse than Trump. He's just a person who is a lot smoother, you know what I'm saying? And didn't always have to pay for pussy. But getting back to Donald Trump, right? So there's these videos that have surfaced now on social media of Jeffrey Epstein during a 3-hour-long deposition back in 2010. And it's what he's saying that adds more fuel to the fire that is Epstein Gate. There's no doubt about it now that Donald Trump lied when he said that he really didn't know Jeffrey Epstein. The pictures, at this point, I would say there are at least 100 different photos of Donald Trump and Epstein engaged in conversation, obviously showing a friendship at various events and personal events on his private plane, even invited him at his December 1993 wedding to Marla Maples. There was definitely a friendship. Now, whether they were using that friendship to, each other's benefit as far as, unsavory behavior, that seems to be the case, right? But there was some type of fallout between Trump and Epstein. It probably happened sometime in the mid to late 2000s. But Jeffrey Epstein seems to confirm certain things here. Now, you judge this for yourself.
Please state your full name.
I'm Jeffrey Edward Epstein, and my residence address is 6100 Red Hook Boulevard in Virgin Islands.
Do you maintain any other residences presently?
I have vacation homes in New Mexico, Palm Beach, New York, and Paris.
Have you ever been convicted of a crime?
Yes.
What was the crime of which you were convicted?
Two counts. One, soliciting prostitution and procuring a minor for prostitution.
Did you in fact commit those acts?
I'm going to invoke my Fifth Amendment right.
How many times have you solicited a minor for prostitution?
Same answer.
How many times have you solicited a minor for prostitution in the state of Florida?
Same answer.
Have you ever solicited a minor for prostitution in the Virgin Islands?
Same answer.
That is, you are invoking your Fifth Amendment.
Yes,
right?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Have you ever solicited for prostitution in New York?
Same answer.
Have you ever solicited for prostitution in New Mexico?
Same answer.
Have you ever solicited for prostitution in Paris?
Same answer.
Have you ever solicited a minor for prostitution anywhere at any time?
Again, I'm going to assert my right.
Did you ever?
We're going to go off the right.
So you are terminating the deposition at this time?
Recess of the deposition.
So you see here Jeffrey Epstein invoking the Fifth Amendment. You might have seen in various movies where there's having these hearings with mobsters. And essentially, even though you could argue that the Fifth Amendment is put in place to protect the innocent at times, usually it's invoked in these situations because the person does not want to answer a question which in essence would incriminate them. Okay, so you might hear a lot of times, I choose to invoke the Fifth Amendment at this time. I choose to invoke the Fifth Amendment. Sometimes you might hear him say, I choose to invoke the Fifth and 14th Amendment. You know, so it usually when you hear that, they're more or less admitting that they're guilty, but they don't want to admit it. So listen to this right here.
Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my Fifth, Sixth, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Let me put it again for you.
Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my Fifth, Sixth, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Now, the interpretation I got from that is Jeffrey Epstein at that point in time probably was on the outs with Donald Trump. This would be around the time Trump was starting to kind of become more outspoken politically, trying to almost becoming a spoken critic of the outspoken critic of the Obama administration, and almost trying to insert himself as almost a moral leader in many ways, right? Criticizing the excesses of and the policies of the Obama administration. So a guy like Epstein probably in his mind is like, man, I really want to answer this question, but if I do, it's going to fuck me over, so I can't answer it. That's the kind of energy I got from that. And look, man, at this point, unless you're just hell-bent on, I'm going to ride this shit with Trump and I don't give a fuck what's out there, I'm just going to agree. I'm just going to give him a pass on everything because I don't want to be wrong on Trump. At this point, I don't know what you're thinking, because at this point, the same shit people tell us, oh, why are you still supporting Diddy? Why are you still supporting Diddy? Well, this is the thing. The state had to prove their case. Excuse me, not the state. The federal government had to prove their case about Diddy being with under those, you know what I'm saying, under the age of 18. They never proved that. Only thing the federal government proved is that he beat up a junkie in Cassie, which was wrong, and that he engaged in kinky, perverted sex with consenting adults. And I've seen the world turn him into the personification of the devil, right? This guy, all evidence points to him engaging in this type of behavior that they're accusing and they accuse Diddy of doing. So it's amazing to me how people can pull this moral compass bullshit on me, because I'm tired of seeing black men being paraded around as the face of everything bad. But you got people still going down with the shit when it comes to Donald Trump. By the way, during this 3-hour deposition, Jeffrey Epstein referred to Donald Trump as a man that had no moral compass. No moral compass. He also said, now this was during the deposition, this was before, this was said by, I think, Jeffrey Epstein's brother, who's still alive. He said that Jeffrey Epstein would often ask Donald, hey, Donald, why do you sleep with married women? And Donald Trump would say, well, because it's wrong. He enjoyed it. He knows what he did was wrong, but he did it anyway. So you wonder why people say that Donald Trump, he has no morals. He has no scruples. The man was seen to have lied during his first term 30,000 times. He was caught in 30,000 lies during the 4 years he was president. Now, politicians lie, but goddamn. So I'm not surprised by any of this stuff. The man is a moral scoundrel. He makes Richard Nixon look like goddamn Father Flanagan. I mean, it's unbelievable, the moral scoundrel we have in the White House. The last two people that we've had in the White House have been absolute moral scoundrels. And by the way, those of you keep saying, well, why didn't they name the list? Why did people want to bring the list when Biden was president? Well, because Bill Clinton was on it. That's why. And it was protecting him. But Bill Clinton, you know what I'm saying, was not in a situation where Epstein, let's put it like this. He wasn't in this situation. Let's put it like that. When Bill Clinton was president, Jeffrey Epstein was out and about doing his thing. And people like Bill Clinton and others were enjoying the fruits and benefit of the disgusting things that he was doing and the service he provided on that island. Now we're fast forward 30 years later. Now situations is different. Okay? So Trump just unfortunately happens to be in a situation now. And I think we're also aided by social media. But like I said, Trump created this situation because he helped to create this cult of vengeance, this cult that's obsessed with conspiracy theories, and you know, they have their tiki torches, and you know what I'm saying, they're out for blood. And they brought up the Epstein list the whole time that Biden was president. But Trump was the one supposed to clean up the swamp. Trump was supposed to be the one that was going to clear everything up. But when it comes to this, they notice a lot of the ones who previously were Trump supporters. They said, "Wait a minute, why is it when we keep talking about this Epstein list, you keep diverting attention to other shit?" And now you're seeing all this suspicious shit going on. The GOP, you know what I'm saying, ending Congress early for a recess because apparently they don't want to have a vote on the Epstein list. Trump keeps talking about Obama, and then they keep trying to divert attention to Bill Clinton. Whenever we talk about the Epstein list, all these reports are coming out showing that they were friends. So, you know, people are like, wait a minute, what's going on here? But anyways, that's all I got to say about it. Tell me what you guys think.